Hey everybody, this is Mike, and this is a very short, very basic tutorial on how you can edit your intro with Adobe Audition. And I'm using the CC 2018 version. I think it's the latest version. I have no idea. So first of all, we have to get our files. So I've got highlights, standard intro, actual episode. Now these are my voice, the highlights of the podcast. That'll be new in every episode. Standard intro. This is the same in every episode. And the actual episode, the actual podcast. So I have it in 3 pieces. I have 2 music choices, a brass music intro and a pop music intro. So we're gonna try the pop music, I guess. We'll do that. So what we do is we have Adobe Audition open, and all I need to do is copy these and drag it over. Boom. And you see here, I've got number 1, the highlights, number 2, the standard, number 3, the actual, and here's the music. And right now we're looking at the music. This would be, if I clicked here, that would be the actual podcast and the standard intro that I use every time and the highlights right there. Now, we need to combine this into one. So what we do, I'll expand this so we get as big as possible. What we do is we go here to multi-track. You see that? You don't have to go up here, just go here and click. And it's going to ask you for a title, so we'll do a tutorial, and we'll just hit OK. Now, we see all these different tracks. These colors are different tracks. And over here, we see our 4 my words and the song here. And all we need to do is drag them over. So let's do number 1. These are the highlights. Number 2, my standard intro. Number 3, the actual podcast episode. And here is the pop music, the music that we want to use. Now, since I'm going to actually move this around, I'm going to move my music up to this track here. Okay, I'm going to move it here, and I'm going to move this one down here, and I'll explain in a second. And I'm going to do this like that. Okay, so this is actually how I want it. Now, let me just go ahead and play what I have here so you can hear it. In this podcast, I'm going to show you how I edit. So those are my highlights. Now, this is the standard intro that I use every time. Welcome to an introoutrobed.com podcast tutorial. Okay, and this is the actual podcast. It's very short, so don't worry. Hi, thanks for checking out my podcast tutorial. My name is Mike. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how I edit my podcasts, and we're going to start with la-di-da-di-da. Okay, so I just cut it off there because I'm not actually going to get into the details. And this is the music. Now, this is a little bit long, but let's go ahead and listen to it for a second. This is the pop music. Okay. That's a good start. So maybe we can bring this music down. Okay, this is pretty exciting. Let's go! Okay, I've got a good idea on how we can do a good intro. So the first one I'm going to show you from the newsletter, it's the highlights, opening, intro, womp, and then the talk over fade. Okay, so we're going to do that one. So here's my highlights. I'm going to drag this over here. I don't need you right now. We're going to zoom in here a little bit. Okay, whoops. Go back like that. There we go. And get back to the very beginning. In this podcast, I'm going to show you how I edit. I think I'm going to drag the music over a little bit more. How I edit. Yeah, that's good timing, right? I think it's good timing. Now, let's get this stuff out of here. Let's listen to the music a little bit. We're going to go back, click here to the very beginning, very beginning, very beginning. There we go. In this podcast, I'm going to show you how I edit. Good. Welcome to an intro out. Yeah, and I think I'm going to start my the standard intro right here. So this is once again, this is a little bit long. I think shorter would be much better, but that's okay. I mean, you work with whatever music that you have. Now, if we just put this here and play it, watch what happens. Watch what happens. I'm going to put the marker here. Welcome to an intro outro bed. You can't hear anything. It's no good. So we need to drop the volume. And it's really easy. You see this yellow bar right here? You just click. You click on the yellow bar once, and yeah, there we go. You see that circle? Actually, this color is a little bit off. So let's change the color, track color, and we're going to make it dark. That should be, well, maybe not. We'll make it orange. No, I don't like that either. Blue? No. Let's see. I'm trying to find a good color because my eyes aren't that good. There we go. That's better. Okay. So I made a dot. I just clicked, and I'm going to click again. I can click anywhere on this line. Just click anywhere. I'm going to click again. Boom. Now I got 2 blue dots, right? Now, what I can do is increase the volume. I clicked, and I'm holding it, or I can decrease the volume. And obviously, in this case, I want to decrease the volume. So now let's watch here. I'm going to go back over here. Welcome to an intro outro bed.com podcast tutorial. Yeah, that sounded really nice, right? That sounded good. I think the volume level, I dropped it. I got lucky, but that sounded really good. So let's go ahead and zoom in again. And now we want to bring the volume back up. Remember, this is, zoom out here. What we're doing here is highlights, opening. All right, so if we look here, I'll try to get this all in one piece here. Come over here. There we go. So these are our highlights right here, okay? And then we got the opening music starting right here. And now we've got our intro, and this is an intro talk over where we're over the music, and then the music goes back up. That's going to be our womp, okay? Back up. And once again, this is pretty long. I would actually like a much shorter one, but I'll show you what we can do because not all music is going to be perfect, right? So I'll show you what we can do. So let's listen to this again. I'm going to go back to the beginning. In this podcast, I'm going to show you how I edit. Welcome to an intro outro bed.com podcast tutorial. I think I missed a let's go, didn't I? Let me go back here. Podcast tutorial. Yeah, let's go. I think this let's go. I want that like that. Let's bring this over here. Podcast tutorial. Yeah, so I'm going to, in this situation, I don't like that timing. So we're going to go back a little bit. Let's see what we got. Podcast tutorial. Let's go! Yeah, that's better, I think. Let's zoom out, go back. Welcome to an intro outro bed.com podcast tutorial. Let's go! Yeah. And I think right about here is going to be enough. At this point, and I just click there, I'm going to click again. We always want to. We want one as an anchor to stay at the 0. See the 0 decibels? That's the perfect audio volume, okay? We want to go here, and we're going to drop it. And we can drop it in stages. We can do it like this for kind of a gradual fade, but I think this is going to be fine, and we'll just cook completely out. Now we're going to drag our main podcast right here, and we want to make sure the lineup is good, so we're going to zoom in. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It doesn't have to, so we go down here, but we can wait a second here. So let's find out how this sounds. Let's go! Hi, thanks for checking out my podcast tutorial. My name is Mike. In this tutorial, So I think the volume went a little bit too fast down. Oops, I don't want to move it. So let's go ahead and make it a little more of a gradual fade. There we go. Let's try that. Tutorial. Let's go! Hi, thanks for checking out my podcast tutorial. My name is Mike. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how I edit my podcast. And this is our talk over fade. So we fade the music and I'm talking over, and this is the actual podcast. That's where the actual podcast begins, okay? So we actually have 4 pieces here. We've got our highlights, then we've got our standard intro, which we're going to use for every episode, and then we got our podcast, the regular podcast. So part 1 here and part 3, they're going to change in every episode, okay? So basically all you need to do, you can keep these 2. This is called track. These are tracks. Track 2 and track 3 are almost never going to change. So now when we do a new episode, we just have to change the upper one here. So these 2 can stay together. We can lock these 2 tracks together. You have to change this and you'll have to change that, but this stays the same. It's very convenient. Very convenient. Now, let's look at another format. So we got the opening and then the talk over fade. So let's do a different song.